Hey guys, Nalabyte here, and welcome to Westward Dystopia. Now, this game is a choose-your-own-adventures game. It looked pretty decent. I found it on the Android Google Play Store, and it looked pretty good. Now, this is the free version, so let's go ahead and hop in and try it. Okay. Welcome to the Wasteland. This free-to-play version of Westward Dystopia provides you with an entire story absolutely free with no paywalls for story content. Purchasing the paid version will grant you 8 more bookmarks for a total of 10, and 5 new base character builds, including the cheater mode for those who don't want to worry about dying in combat encounters. So that's the difference between the two. Thought I'd just read you that. I've already read through all this. So, Nalabyte. And of course, these are there's only one for the free version. If you guys end up liking this, I might pick up the paid version, and we can try the different character builds to see if they change the story or anything. The Artifact Hunter. The Hunter is a well-based character with moderate HP, attack, and defense bonuses. HP 22, attack 1, defense 1, gold 6, grenade 1, and medkits 2. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it within himself. Galileo Galilei. Prologue. Surgeon General Green gave up on the state of public health the day a naked traveler appeared at his doorstep, heralding the end of the world. There had been no warning, no sign on radar. Nothing became something. And the traveler was there, consuming his every waking thought. The military brass believed it had been a convent trick. Covenant? Convent? What do words? Anyway, something to throw Prometheus base off the scent of something big. Months passed and nothing ever happened. No attack, no threats, or notable intelligence leaks. All was quiet along the length of the accord. The wizened old man was clearly irritated. He paced the full length of his study several times in silence, his hands knotting and unknotting in unconscious spasms as he muttered under his breath. Thick lines of worry shrouded his eyes, rendering his countenance both tired and world-weary. He had the look of a man recently told that his death would not be long in coming, but he did not despair. No, he would fight this coming doom, and if he failed in its prevention, it would not be due to his negligence or inaction. He just needed a moment to think. That was all. Surgeon General Green. He still wasn't used to the title, despite operating under its authority for almost a year now. In the midst of the Great War and the chaos that followed, in its devastating wake from one continent to the next, his hands had been full already. Public health was a continuous disaster, and the Union military itself was barely holding on by a thread. And now this traveler, as the brass liked to call him, arrived along the accord, deep in Union territory with no identification, bearing portions of doom and future knowledge that had initially been dismissed as a lunatic's rambling. 2 had come before this one, a female and a male. Both had been executed as spies, their detention and subsequent executions kept secret. It had taken the my mouth is just like, no, F you. I apologize. It had taken the intervention of Dr. Felicia Ward under the authority of the Union President himself to stay the execution of the traveler when he suddenly materialized in the dead zone outside of Prometheus base along the accord. Intense studies mapping out the subject's brain patterns had produced fascinating results. The physical studies combined with information contained in a rough leather satchel had accompanied the traveler and convinced even Green that there was an important message being conveyed. But from whom? To what end? The traveler had been catatonic since shortly after his arrival, and the computers were having unusual difficulty mapping his memories. Perhaps a human mind could traverse the passageways of memory where the cold, calculating brain of an AI could not. Such techniques were rarely used and largely considered unethical, but the Union was running out of time. His audience required a decision. The old man sighed. He would give them what they wanted to hear. The raising of Traveller's Papers spoke of was born of chaos. Green finally addressed the room, his eyes afire with resolve, ever searching, penetrating. Billions suffered and died for the ambitions of the few. When the smoke cleared, humanity found that its numbers had dwindled into the tens of thousands. What could have prevented this ultimate tragedy? The books were found on the travelers' detail and after effects of the last great war, but not the cause. Why come all this way bearing warnings of destruction while withholding any information which we could act on? The old man slammed his fist down on his richly carved wooden desk harder than he had intended, bruising his tender flesh. We'll need to dig deeper to fill the memory gaps. Our need is great, and it trumps the ethical concerns. Prep the traveler for a full memory scan and reconstruction. We'll need a volunteer. The room was silent for several seconds before exploding in a flurry of motion. The game was at last afoot. I can't talk today. Book 1. No one knows what caused the raising. We only know that several generations ago the world was lush and green, and the multitudes lived in cities spanning farther than the eye could see, caring and wanting for nothing. That civilization is lost forever lost to us now. Its skeletons littered the landscape like wraiths whispering taunts of times man will never see again. The world as we know it today is a blasted, deadly landscape populated by hordes of mutants, deadly nomadic tribes, and small dusty townships all hoping to eke out a basic existence in the wastes. The few densely populated cities have walled themselves off from the chaos, becoming insular and even more paranoid as decades pass. These few scattered population centers are ruled over by guild or council with an iron fist. The past century is rife with stories of war between the isolated islands of civilization. The resources necessary to maintain such modern utopias are scarce in the wastelands, and the common propaganda of modern nationalism is that you must take from your rivals in order to better your lot in life. All for the good of the city, of course. Whispers and rumors tell of those who make their living hunting artifacts in the ancient pre-raising culture. The old books have long since decayed beyond reading, but sometimes technology may be resurrected if one knows the arcane rites necessary to set their old bones to dancing. You have made your living as an artifact hunter for a decade now, picking up the odd job here and there, working for everyone from traveling merchants to the lords of the great city of Benaron. At least that's what we're going to call it. The lords being your current and most prominent client. Knowledge of pre-raising technology is a jealously guarded secret, previously known only to the revered guild of technomancers, based in the city of Root, your birthplace. Expertise in functional tech is worth more than any quantity of gold to the guild. Individuals found selling or teaching such techniques are either executed or recruited, typically the former. For what mystique the world there be to the wonders of technology if the masses were allowed to fathom that it functioned just as well for anyone, provided they knew how to operate it? In a world of controlled knowledge, the Technomancer Guild is king, mage, and shaman all in once. The common folk look up upon them with reverence and fear, their firearms and electricity the most terrifying of sorceries. Today, however, knowledge is spreading. As more artifacts fall into the hands of merchants and lords, the power and influence of the Technomancer's Guild has begun to dwindle away. Hunters such as yourself are seen in many circles as villains set to topple the world order and promote chaos, and to be fair, many hunters are exactly that. You, however, simply see it as the best way for a person of your skill set to earn an honest living. If your business helps to subvert the rule of the guild, even better. Your artifact hunting is not the entire reason you have a price on your head, but it owns a weighty share of the blame. Defecting from the Technomancer's Guild several years ago put the target on your back. Agonizing them by spreading technology amongst their rivals only made them want you more. But oh, the fun of watching the powerful men squirm. You possess a great many secrets. Your revolvers, ancient and mysterious to a post-technology, I keep wanting to say technological. Post-technology world makes you one of the most dangerous wanderers in the waste. Your other secrets, better hidden and internalized, often intimidate even yourself. Mutations, for instance. Now there is a dangerous topic. Mutations happen less frequently now than in the past decades, but they still affect a notable subsection of all living beings from humans to cattle, even plant life. Those affected are commonly cast out of their homes, fall in with roving bands of nomadic mutant tribes, or worse, are outright killed by the rightfully fearful society. Mutations can be exceedingly dangerous. When a new strain of mutation is discovered, no effort is spared in stamping it out. For example, you suffered greatly at the hands of your masters when your mutant affinity for electrical and kinetic energy was discovered. Since your escape several years ago, you have seldom accessed the energy reserves within you, fearful that even brief contact with such alien abilities would somehow brand you as an outcast. You keep your powers hidden, even from yourself. Besides, what use had you for such defenses when the most deadly weapons known to man ride with you, one on each hip? Not too bad art. Pretty good. Book 1. Dusty red sunlight filters through the stained tattered adorning the small window above your bed, slowly bringing you back to the land of the living. Groaning, you massage your temples and stave off the early morning greetings of your well-earned hangover. Sounds like me after a drinking session. Except, thankfully, I don't get hangovers. Nursed and cultivated while gathering intelligence in the common room downstairs. Years spent hunting both relic and rumor have made it clear to you that nothing gets a man speaking the truth quite like being plied with alcohol, the downside being that nobody trusts a man asking questions who isn't drinking himself. You grin to yourself, followed by a reactionary wince at the muscles under your right eye twitches. It would appear you fell asleep again, fully dressed. Your head pounds and you cease your ministrations. Ministrations? I cannot word today. Ministrations in favor of a full-bodied stretch in a vain attempt to restore yourself to some semblance of normality. Righting yourself in bed, you are just about to stand when you hear a shout of alarm from below. This wouldn't be the first time a fight had broken out in the common room of the seedy inn you currently call home, but there is something different about this commotion, telling you that perhaps you should prepare yourself for the worst. Last night you heard rumors of raiders pillaging neighboring towns, although the quality of the local rumor mill is as suspect as the watered-down ale they serve in this sorry excuse for a bar downstairs. The shouting from below reaches a panicked pitch followed by a sharp crack. Few people in this age would recognize the sound of gunfire. To you, however, the unexpected report raises hairs on the back of your neck as the latest vestiges of lethargy drain from you and you bolt upright, your hangover a distant memory hidden in a sudden fog of adrenaline. Pulling the bottom drawer of your dresser out from its frame, you reveal a hidden weapon cache. 2 revolvers and a bandolier of ammo carefully secreted within. strapping the priceless artifacts to your belt, hidden behind the folds of your beat-up brown leather duster. Isn't that how most of these people in this setting normally dress? Dusters? I mean, come on. That's really cliche. I mean, I love the look, but it's so cliche. You inspect the mess that your living quarters have become in the time you have spent here in Randall. Too long. You stayed here too long. It would take time to gather the proper supplies for your run, time you have precious little of as the sounds of combat reach ever closer to your room. You have time to grab maybe one more item. Search the room for supplies, medical kit, or search the room for supplies, hunting knife. So it comes down to, do I want to have health or do I want to have attack? Well, we've got 2 revolvers and a bandolier. Oh, a bandolier of ammo. I think we're going to go medical kit. We've already got the weapon. Added med pack to inventory. Cool. As quickly and dexterously as you can manage, given your recent arousal, you retrieve your stored medical kit and the pack that holds it from beneath your bed. There is no time to search for more gear. The attackers are almost at your door. Pry the window open and escape without confrontation. Hide behind the door and surprise the enemy, or burst out of the door and attack first. So it comes down to, do we want to run, do we want to surprise, or do we want the first attack? I think we're going to surprise because it's not necessarily a fight. He's only hearing it. Yeah, we're going to surprise him. Oh boy, I was wrong. You have just managed to press yourself against the wall next to the door when a brutal kick from the outside shatters the cheap wooden portal to pieces in an explosion of splinters and hinges. 2 well-armed men burst into the room brandishing long swords. You feel momentary relief when you note none of the telltale signs of hidden firearms at their waists. Perhaps you misinterpreted the sounds from earlier? Your relief is short-lived as one of the men turns and spots you, exhaling with a gasp of surprise. It's the target! Over here! And we're going to see how fights work. The battle begins. Prepare to fight. Okay, we'll attack. Oh. You deal 2+1 bonus damage -0 enemy defense totaling 3. Enemy deals 4+0 bonus damage, 1 player defense totaling 3. This is actually pretty cool. It's got a hint of D&D. I can definitely see the hint of D&D. It's actually really cool. We'll attack again. You deal 2+1 bonus damage, 0 enemy defense totaling 3. Enemy deals 1+0 bonus damage, 1 player defense totaling 0. Ah, cool, he didn't hit me. Ew. Ooh, we won! Enemy defeated. Enemy deals 5+0 bonus damage, 1 player defense totaling 4. And we return to the story. The battle is concluded. The second black-clad mercenary falls to you in battle and gasps out his last, the look in his eyes passing from horror and disbelief to the glaze of the dead. Ahead of you, a tall, lanky man strides around the corner of the hallway, his long white hair billowing behind him from his brisk steps. His face darkens as he notices you recovering from the battle over the bodies of his fallen comrades. The man's eyes fall behind your belt and widen as they notice your revolvers. "You!" he exclaims, more of an exhalation of awe and surprise than a declaration. His hand twitches and reaches for the ebony holster at his hip. "You must come with me. Now! There's no time to explain," he snaps, clearly nervous and looking around for more backup. You have no intentions of going anywhere with this mercenary, gun or no gun. Any merc that shoots his way through a tavern in search of a single man isn't worth trusting. Anger boils up inside you. These people were innocent, and this murderous scum killed them to get to you. There is no time for talk, only action. Ooh, another fight. Yay! Kind of like this fight. Although my health is going down pretty rapidly. Good thing I decided to grab that. We dealt 4, he dealt 5. I have a feeling I'm going to die. We dealt 5, he dealt 2. One more. Get him. We dealt 4, he dealt 1, and we won. Although we're down to 7. Time on the road has not dulled your senses to the point where a gunfight against a clearly inferior hand would mark the end of you. Summoning up reflex and muscle memory ingrained in you from countless hours spent training, your hand becomes a blur, clearing leather and losing a shot before the lanky man can so much draw his weapon from its holster. Oh, bullcrap. He did more than draw his gun from his holster. Look at our health and then say that. A splash of crimson marks the disintegration of a chunk of the man's face. Ew! As he goes down in a heap. Perhaps your training is not up to snuff as you originally speculated. You sought to wound the man, not outright kill him. Being able to question him would have been invaluable in your effort to determine why these men came for you and who hired them. You quickly examine the area, coming to the conclusion that no other threats are present before returning to the body and performing a thorough search. In the left pocket of the leader's overcoat, you discover a crumpled note written in a firm, scholarly hand. See, your target has been found hiding in Randall. The town is a front for the Alliance. Take the target into protective custody and leave none of the Alliance alive. Be steady in your convictions. Recruit strong arms from outlying towns to complete the sweep. Return the target to us immediately upon acquisition. BC. A shiver runs down your spine as you pocket the note. This town is a front? What Alliance? In all the time you've spent here, you never encountered anything outside of the ordinary for a small wasteland town. A quick search of the other mercenaries' bodies reveal little else in the way of intelligence. You make your way down the stairs to the first floor and are disappointed but unsurprised to see that a bloodbath awaits you. Randall was a peasant town with little in the way of fighting men or means to defend themselves. They didn't stand a chance against trained mercs and guns. Averting your eyes from the faces of men and women you had come to know over the last several days, you work your way toward the front door in hopes of reaching your horse and escaping any further violence. As you reach the door, you consider checking behind the bar for supplies and gold. While rather ghoulish, it is true that they no longer will be requiring money. In this life, at least. I think we'll search it. Cool, we got gold. While your remaining senses of propriety keeps you from looting the bodies of your recently deceased friend and acquaintances, the bar may contain currency and foodstuffs that hold no further use to those who have passed on. As quickly as you can, you rifle through the assorted goods in drawers behind the bar, not wanting to take too long in case more mercenaries make an untimely entrance. You pocket a few days' worth of meats and cheese, as well as 8 gold coins from the cash drawer. You figure it unlikely that the bar had much more cash on hand considering the poor overall economic state of the town. You don't waste further time hunting down additional stray coins. Muttering a word of apology to the dead as you work your way around the bodies toward the exit, you force yourself to avert your eyes from the bloodbath. Dwelling on the misfortune of the recently dead will help neither you nor them. This is a world of the living, and if you still wish to count yourself amongst them, you'll need to leave your mourning behind and escape while you still have the chance. I have to say, I'm liking this so far. It's really interesting, and it's actually pretty fun. I think we're going to go ahead and leave this one here. We're coming up on 20 some odd minutes. So, yeah, I hope you guys had enjoyed this. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy it, mash that like button like it's on a controller, and feel free to comment and subscribe for more content in the future. And as always, I'm Nalabyte, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later!